Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this CartoVista webinar on interactive mining and geology map. My name is Danny Bouchard. I'm the president and founder of CartoVista. I'm quite excited to be here with you today to continue our new series of targeted webinars. Today's topic on geology and mining is part of the applied remote sensing track and quite close to me, as I graduated as a physical geographer quite a few years ago. Nevertheless, Earth information has changed so much in the last decade. If we take an example with INSAR data, we have witnessed a new generation of radar satellites that have revolutionized our ability to measure surface deformation globally, for instance. INSAR data is transforming our understanding of faults, volcanoes, or ground stability. This information is influencing hazard risk management worldwide. Mining companies can integrate this data and add a strategic dimension to their operations. We believe that the ability to show and analyze this kind of data over time in relationship with key assets can make a big difference, especially if you do it with intuitive web-based tools. To explore all these things and new ways of interacting with geology and mining data, I'm quite happy to have our GIS specialist, Jonathan Leblanc, joining us this afternoon on this webinar. Hello, Jonathan. How are you doing?
Hey, Danny. Good afternoon. I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing fantastic. If you could take a few minutes to introduce yourself, that would be outstanding.
Yeah, sure thing. So hello, everyone. It is a very great pleasure to be with you today for this webinar of the Applied Remote Sensing series. This episode focuses on geology and mining. But before I start showing you the many features of CartoVista for web mapping, I would like to thank Danny Bouchard for his time. It's not every day we have the president of the founder of CartoVista with us. So thank you very much, Danny, for being with us today.
My pleasure.
So let me quickly introduce myself. So my name is Jonathan Leblanc, as Danny mentioned, and I have been working in the mapping world for over 7 years. It is through these years of experience doing special analysis that I've noticed the importance of the constant evolution of the field of remote sensing, especially for geology and mining. Sophisticated tools are becoming more and more accessible and intuitive, as we will show you. CartoVista Solutions is really appropriate for this area. It is fast, it is easy to use, and very interactive. But before we get started, I think Danny will present the agenda, right, Danny?
Yes, for sure. So we've just done the introduction. We'll go with the CartoVista presentation that will last for just about 10 to 15 minutes. And then we'll have a quick feature poll just to get your feedback on what you think is relevant. And we'll end up with questions and answer. And I invite you already, if you do have questions, you can see in the Zoom menu, there's a Q&A section that you can just browse to and just send us your questions as you see Jonathan walking through the presentation as you see fit. And we'll happily answer those for just about 5 minutes. So why don't we get the ball rolling, John, and you can actually show us, the great examples you've got.
Yeah, so let's do it. So just before starting this webinar, it's going to be in 2 parts with the presentation of 2 maps. So the first one will focus on the mining and geological domain of Alaska. You will see how to navigate between several maps, make selections, and even use the multimedia tools. Then the second one will focus on a mining site in Poland, in the east of Europe. And this will be the occasion to introduce you to the raster and time series analysis functionality. So I'm going to start with the first map of Alaska. So you must be able to see my screen very soon.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So just to start, so we have a map of Alaska here. So just to start, we have the basic tools of CartoVista here, just to navigate into the map. I have my 2 layers here, and I have my tiles. So here we have Microsoft Bing Aerial, but we can switch with other tiles that we have. So it's very easy to do. And you can also do your own tiles in CartoVista. It's something that's a feature that is very appropriate for that. Then you can see that we have 2 layers. This mining industry, like these little triangles here, it's a very big layer. It's more or less 7,000 points. So you can see here. And then we have the geology polygons. It's a very big layer too. It's more than 50,000 polygons. And we have a label here like, so if we zoom in, you can see the little star here, means that if we zoom in, we have visibility ranges labels. So it's coming when I'm zooming, just here, you can see that. Basic tool we have, it's also the charts we have here, the legends. So the legend is totally interactive. You can see here, if I put my mouse just here, you can see that it's interactive. You can see that in the map and in the chart bar. Same here, if I go in my tables, you're going to see that if I go in inactive, it's selecting all of these. Then we have this search bar. So it's very easy to navigate into the map. Like we have a lot of polygons. It could be difficult for you to find the mine you were like currently working with. So I just have to tap that. This one is pretty famous in Alaska, Rabbit Creek. So just gonna click here and you zoom in exactly in the spots you need. If I zoom out, then you can see that we have another tool in the bottom, which is the table. It's very important and easy to use. It's user-friendly. You can do some filters here. For example, if I just want to show the mine that are like active, I just have to click here and filter, and you're going to see all of the green that are going to appear here. I'm just clear of that, and some very useful thing is like you can also export everything in Excel in an Excel table. You have the statistics here, for example, and this is like the main idea of all of the basic tools that we have in CartoVista. Other thing that we really like to show in CartoVista is the possibility to have like kind of a map library. So like the possibility to create a lot of different maps into the same product. It's very helpful for you. You can print some stuff and go back to another map and put it in PDF. If you're working in the field, you just have to click here and you can put it, for example, the view you have. So this one, as you can see, it's focused on mining. We have our mines here, active, inactive, and that determines the status of the mine. But if I click here, we have all of the type, so different colors. We can settle that just giving a click here. I can choose a color, etc., etc. Then we have this one, that's a production. So this is pretty big, and we have a kind of an issue here. We have a lot of mines that are not in use anymore, so it's a bit difficult to see the one that are like undetermined, yes, and etc. So I just have to go to my table, click here, and just decide not to use the one not in use. I'm going to filter, and it's going to be very easy to read now. Another great feature in CartoVista, it's the possibility to use multimedia, like images. So you can see here, we have all of the mining industry that are like large production. If I zoom out a bit, you're going to see all of this little triangle, and we have some images, for example, with the data tip. So if I click here with the info tool, and you are going to have some information with the location, production, etc., and a picture. If I click here, you can have it zoom in. Here we just decided to have one picture, but you can decide to have more than one, and it's going to create for you pictures gallery. You just have to click that to show all of the pictures. This could be very useful. You can have all of the status of the mine. You can have different pictures like for different years, etc., etc. It's something that is very useful.
You picked a good picture.
Yeah, it's beautiful, right?
This is nice.
So then we have like this other themes. It's like more into geology. So you can see here that we have all of our polygons. So it's quite a big feature. So we decided to create some different views. Like it's more than 15,000 features with very difficult like geometries. So if I go here, you're going to see that I've been doing a filter just to see the sedimentary rocks. So I go here, and you see that my filter is here. I can clear it, but I'm not going to do it right now. And then I have my themes with all of the sedimentary rock. Same story, I can just print it if you want to work with that. Here we have all of the tertiary and quaternary age. Same story, just doing some filter, going to see that's happening. So it's very easy. You can have very, very big layers and have different phases, different themes, etc., etc. So I think that's it for the Alaska one. So remember, you can also export that in Excel, and you can save session if you're working here and share it with your colleagues, for example, or just coming back with the same sessions, whatever you're doing. Now we're going to check the map of Eastern Europe, like in Poland. So this is a bit different. We decided to create for you a map that is combining all of the vector layers to show all of the symbology capacity we have in CartoVista. So you can see that here we have a lot of lines and a lot of different polygons. We have a base map. The mine is around here. I'm going to turn off the base map, but you're going to see that we can represent a lot of stuff. So we have all of the contour lines. If I click here, you can see them. It's pretty easy. We have the voltage with these little electric symbols. You can go in, see them easily. So it's very easy to create a lot of information that are easy to work with, especially if you're working in mining. These maps that are like usually full of information and they're like very important. So you want them to be very clear. Same here, we have the tunnels and the salt rock boundaries. Then we have some information about the cities, like roads, the network of railroads, buildings here, for example. So it's also very useful for all of the wrist and the ground deformation. We have the river that you can see here in Poland. Then we have other information. So these are like vector layers, but they have been used and created with the INSA data. So we just use the vector layers that they provided us. You can see here, so slight risks too. But I'm just going to show you like in a few minutes how to use rasters to do more or less the same idea. Then we have other information about the mine, the deflection, etc., etc. If I go in my themes, you're going to see the land occupation. So it's the same. It's a vector data. It's a bit confused, so I'm going to take my tiles back, but you can see where everything is happening, if it's forest, if it's mineral extraction sites, etc., etc. So it's pretty clear. Then something very interesting is the way how to use raster data created by INSA data in CartoVista. So if I click here on ground deformation, you're going to see that we have some ground deformation here, and we have the possibility to use a time series. So this is 2016, 2017. But if I want to move in time, I'm just going to click here, and you're going to see the evolution. Same here. I can also do it directly here in the bar, or I can do it in a time lapse. Just clicking here, you're going to see all of the deformation moving little by little. So this is interesting to see where like all of the ground deformation is. You can also make some filter analysis or grid spatial analysis. And just go here, and you're going to see that we have a chart coming. You can export that in PNG or SVG, or even in Excel if you want to work with some data. We have the possibility to create some timeline analysis. So I've just clicked here. I'm just going to click, I don't know, around here. I'm going to see the evolution between 2016 until right now. So same story, you can download that in PNG SVG. So it's interesting to make like a comparison with the risk. For the example, you can see that. And we have another theme with the raster data in risk. So you can see that's like the data we have are like pretty the same here, like around here, right? So if I click in the time series, it's going to be the same idea. Just click here, and it's going to move little by little, years by years. I can do the same using my grid profile analysis here, and having some useful information, for example. So this is like more or less to show you what we can do with CartoVista as a way of, it's very unique, the way of being able to combine all of this information by vector data, and then using all of this information by raster data. It's pretty interesting to combine them. You can you can put everything in the same product. You can print some information. You can take some layers off. Say to your users, like doing whatever they really want to do with that. The possibility to print is also very interesting, like to create that in PDF. You have different size, so it's also something that can be useful. And we're going to have some new webinars coming soon about this kind of geology and mining. We're going to have one about the one-to-many features that is coming soon. We are going to have one about the vector time series, and the one about how to integrate some different kind of geotiff. So I think that's it for me, Danny. I'm leaving you the agenda now.
Okay, very good. Maybe a question just to elaborate a little bit more on how to set this all up. Maybe you can explain a little bit how it works, because you've got, you know, several settings that are there, I'm assuming from some of the layers. Can you explain how you how this is done, actually defining, you know, what happens when you roll over an object, or how is that actually done?
Yeah, so everything is created in the desktop product for CartoVista. The CartoVista publisher is linked into like it's linked with your server, your portal. So you create the map there in the publisher, and you can define in this moment what kind of information you can have, what kind of data type you can have, etc., the colors, etc. But you can also create some new analysis in the map. Like if I go back in my Alaska map, I'm going to go there. Here you can see that I can change very easily the colors here. If I'm not very okay with orange, blue, and purple, it's just very easy. I just go here and change the color in brown, for example, and that's it. Also, something very useful is the possibility to create some new analysis just right here. Like out of nowhere, I'll just click in this little plus and going to my layer, and I can create a new analysis with shapes, with colors, etc. If you have some data that are like more like numbers, you are going to have other possibilities, like for example, by size or colors, etc. And something very useful, you can save some sessions. So you can walk a bit on your map, and like if you like it's the end of your day or the end of your week, you want to let your colleague working with that, you just have to create a new session, put a title, put a test, and give some permission for someone to work with that, CartoVista, etc. If you want just to have it for you, you just switch here and create. This means that next time you're going to open the map, you're going to have a small pop-up asking you, do you want to continue with your last session, or do you want to start from zero? That's it, Danny.
Okay. Very nice. Thanks for the explanation. That's great. Maybe just another key point to highlight how you input your data into the system. If you can quickly explain how that works.
Yeah, we can have a look in the server. So this is the map gallery of the server, but you have a tab called data here, and you can just go like we're going in this geoscience folder. Just have to click add data, and you have the option to upload some shapefile on tab. You have to zip them. Could be some Excel files and some GeoTIFF. So it's very easy. You just have to drag and drop or browse from your computer, and then that's it. And then you can make some small adjustment here. You go here, and you have like all of the information. The data are like pretty clear, and you can make some change here. For example, if you want it in, I don't know, some like that, you just save it, and it's going to be a new map. That's it.
Nice. Good. Thank you so much. This is great. Great presentation. So let me take control of the screen again.
Yeah.
And we'll continue, I guess, with the next thing is we'd like to get your feedback on what you've seen, see how that applies to your domain. So I'm going to get the polling going here. So you should see in your screen a few questions coming up. If you can take a minute to answer those questions, that'd be great. So we can be back, and I'll share the results with everybody. So be back in a second. Right. It looks like most of you guys, did give us some feedback. So this is good. So let's share the results with everybody so we can discuss this, John. So do you currently use GIS at any stage of a mine's life cycle? So the answer is mostly yes. Most of our participants have been, are using
like
GIS, but
67%. It's quite a lot.
But we've got also people that don't currently leverage GIS, so it's interesting, for sure. Second question is, at which stage of a mine's life cycle is GIS most critical to you? And I'd say we have, quite a mixed answer in there, but definitely on the planning side. And
Yeah,
this
this
is
is like
yeah, and
outstanding here.
this is where we see that the data like INSAR and all those things make a big impact on how you plan your stuff. We also have production, post-production. We could still have some people that have some interest or using GIS for that, and obviously acquisition, anything that has to do with exploration or installing a new a new site has to do with that for sure. Now, the next set of questions we had: what type of GIS or data sets do you work with the most? And no surprise, vector data is a big one. All of the mining assets. We looked at the example together with buildings and all those things.
Yeah, like roads, etc.
Yeah, exactly. You have to manage this, and it's really important for the operation. But we also have other stuff. We could see that satellite imagery and time-based data, ground information, INSAR, other type of data are very useful to quite a few guys in the audience, which makes sense. So this is good. Aerial drone imagery. We don't yet have anybody that's been attending that had a requirement for this, but I know by talking to other mining company that aerial and drone imagery is also useful in some use cases.
It's something getting bigger and bigger every day.
Exactly. So this is good. All right, so let's look at the next step. Next step, I guess, is we just wanted to mention that if you're now already using CartoVista, you can actually download a software trial straight from our website. There's a menu at the top, request trial. You can click on that, and you'll have just fill out the quick form, and this will get a new portal set up for you so that you can try the software. You'll be able to download the publisher and all those things from there. So it should be pretty straightforward. We have some videos, John, as well, to help the user get going. And obviously, we are there to support you guys as well in case you need some help. Here's my email and Jonathan's email as well.
Same for me. Please don't hesitate to contact us. It would be a great pleasure to help you with all of your projects.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we're down to the last session, the next section, which is the Q&A. So there's the Q&A section inside of Zoom. So please, if you have questions about what was presented today or other questions about CartoVista, please send them our way, and we'll happily answer those. So let's take the first question. It looks like we have a few from attendees here. So let's take the first one. Great question. What are the limits of grid layers, size and numbers? That's actually a really good one. There's no physical limit per se. You can go pretty much as big as you want, but obviously if you go with a petabyte grid, it's not going to work. First of all, it's going to be complicated to transfer, but we've worked with pretty big data sets. We are leveraging the cloud for this. It makes sense to start working with that much big data. You want to deploy it in the cloud because the cloud has the capability to expand.
Yeah, and it's getting faster, etc.
Yeah, and that the storage as well is reasonable in the cloud. So theoretically, there's no limits, but you can go pretty high when it comes to the data. So we've worked with several terabytes of data and with pretty good success. Another question, you showed the spatial intersection the other day. Does it work with grid data? Actually, it does. What you can do is you can take your vector information. Imagine I have a polygon, and I'd like to calculate the average precipitation for that site, for that polygon. It's just a question of selecting the polygon, and then it's going to perform the spatial intersection for you. So all of that has been taken care of. Same goes if you're working, let's say, with a line or a road, and you'd like to get a sense of what the slope is along the line. That's going to be handled, right, John?
Yeah, it's working pretty fine. And as this person just asked, about the spatial intersection, I'll just saying to you, like, we have the YouTube channel. So it's the last webinar we've been giving about geomarketing, but you can see that in our YouTube channel if you have any question, or you can just contact us by email too about this special tool.
Yeah. The other interesting aspect that we have, and we are actually working on enhancing this, is having more support for time-based data when it comes to this. So you can click, let's say you have a time series, you can click on a location and retrieve the data, the grid data, but we are working on adding vector support. So imagine I have a series of ground deformation using different dates, and this can go back in time. Let's say I have 1 year of data. You can actually start to leverage this and see the evolution of those ground deformations over a long period of time. So this is something that we will be adding to the platform in the upcoming months. So yeah, quite excited about this. Good. Let's see if we have more questions coming in. So feel free to ask if there are things you're not sure about, things that are not clear. It'll be a pleasure for us to answer. But I guess the next step is, we'd love to get some feedback from you. You can try your data uploading your own GeoTIFF, your own shapefiles, and all those things inside your portal, and you can get a map up and running in a matter of a few minutes, really, with the desktop tool. So we invite you to try the software. I think this is the best story when you can make a map in a few minutes, and hopefully wow your clients with a different way of producing something instead of working with static files. So this is the internet. This is the power of the web. So hopefully we'll get you to see what's possible and empower your decision making and your sharing. That being said, I want to thank Jonathan for joining us for this webinar this afternoon. It was great presentation. And we look forward to speaking with you. If you have questions or anything, it'll be a pleasure for us. Please stay tuned. There's going to be more webinars coming up on the remote sensing side, as well as on other subjects such as geomarketing and other tracks. So keep looking for those emails, and you should see some announcement coming up for new things. That being said, I want to thank everybody for the time this afternoon, and we look forward to speaking with you.
Bye.